You want to know how fast a life can be taken from you? Listen, she's dead because you couldn't wait. And now you want to pretend my wife wasn't disabled. I said it loud, so every nosy neighbor hiding behind their blinds would hear. Melinda Gratch, president of the Black Ridge Dunes HOA, just stood there, smug as ever, clipboard steady, lips curled into that same little sneer I'd seen 100 times before, usually right before she tried to threaten us. She was unsecured. Melinda spat, not even blinking. Not our fault. She chose to sit in an unapproved fixture. Unapproved. Like my wife's balcony was a lawn ornament. Like the lift was a decoration. That balcony was her body. That lift was her spine. And Melinda had sent a crew to tear it down while I was out grabbing groceries. Rhea loved her mornings. She'd go out just to catch the sun, feel the wind, the only kind of movement left to her. She never stood a chance. They tampered with the load-bearing fasteners. I told everyone, I built those torque sensors myself. So unless you've got a good reason why your crew disabled a level 180 mandated safety system, we both know what you just did. For the first time, Melinda's smile slipped, just a flicker. Not fear, not yet, just that look you get when your script is suddenly out of date. If you've ever seen an HOA weaponize the rules until someone gets hurt, yeah, hit subscribe because this isn't a complaint, this is a forensic record. My name's Dorian Vellon. I don't just build structures, I audit failure. I'm a structural systems analyst, 10 years designing ADA-compliant rescue modules for disaster zones. Field teaching engineers after hurricanes, fires, even combat demolitions. But after Rhea's accident, I left the field. She needed a home that would move when she couldn't. So I built it, bolt by bolt, line by line, every inch compliant with federal law, impossible to argue against. But Melinda, she didn't argue. She waited, circled, sent violation notices for the shade of blue we used, the length of a cable, the curve of a support arm. Last week, it was a visual obstruction concern. I saw it coming. So did Rhea. That morning, before I left, she just whispered, "Don't let them take it down. If they win, it means I was never here." She wasn't talking about the railing. She meant her life, her dignity, her independence. Rhea decorated that balcony in blue and copper because it reminded her of the cliffs in Big Sur, where we said our vows. Her favorite corner caught the morning light, and the winds were calmest just before 8 a.m. That's when they did it. A crew, no helmets, no tags, no permits, showed up with bolt cutters and a cordless drill. One guy looked at her, maybe thought she'd move. But the lift locked automatically. Had to. She was strapped in, half paralyzed. The moment they popped the top bracket, the platform rotated forward, split like wet wood across the stone retaining wall. I got her text 3 minutes later, "Something's happening outside." I was 8 minutes away. When I pulled in, the ambulance was already shutting its doors. The platform was mangled, splintered. Rhea's body was under a sheet, arms still through the wheelchair strap. Melinda was giving statements to the HOA secretary, pretending not to see me. That's when I said it. She's dead because you couldn't wait. And now you want to pretend my wife wasn't disabled. Silence. None of them expected a fight. Not the board, not the hired enforcers, not the neighbors who watched the lift fall and said nothing. But they forgot something. Rhea's brother Logan is a Navy SEAL, and 10 minutes after Rhea hit the rocks, he walked up the drive holding her coffee, the last thing she ever asked for. He didn't know yet. He would. And when he did, we weren't going to court. We were going to war, with evidence, timestamps, and a story that would make the whole state watch Black Ridge Dunes burn. Within the hour, the HOA sent a bulletin, "Incident at Lot 14, safety reminder and ongoing investigation." Legal speak. Lies. Unforeseen equipment failure. Unapproved modifications. Unfortunate consequence. They didn't even say her name. Rhea was not a consequence. She was the most deliberate person I'd ever met. Every bracket, every bolt, every color chosen for a reason. The bolts were powder-coated blue to match her wheelchair. Tilt sensors double-sealed because she hated how salt fog warped the data. She didn't just sit on that platform. She lived on it. It was her escape. Our friends used to joke she spent more time in the breeze than on the ground. The HOA never liked it. always hiding behind visual standards, some clause about uniformity so they could attack what they couldn't control. It started 8 months ago. Melinda flagged us for a decorative protrusion beyond 3 feet. That was the awning we installed for her medical lifts control panel. Then came the warning about unauthorized vertical elevation devices. Ours was manual, solar-backed, fully within ADA specs. We fought every time. Every time we won, they got pettier. Last week's memo was the sharpest yet. All structural extensions must be subject to immediate reassessment should a reasonable concern for community safety or aesthetics be raised by any board member. Translation: if Melinda didn't like it, she'd act. No permits, no inspections, just a statement and a crew. The same day, I'd seen Calvin Dreel, the HOA treasurer, on the sidewalk, tight jaw, clipboard in hand, refusing to look at us. He was there again today, eyes hollow, standing off to the side as the medics zipped the bag. I saw him gripping his shirt until his knuckles turned white. Melinda barked something at him. He just turned and walked toward the board office like he was carrying a secret he couldn't keep. I didn't chase him yet. Instead, I spent the next hour at the wreckage. The HOA had started cordoning off the area, probably to tamper before investigators showed up. But I knew the codes. This platform is federally compliant under ADA Section 206.7.9, I told the maintenance guy. Touch it before the city investigator arrives, and I'll file a restraint violation under federal housing statutes. He just made a call. The damage was too clean. No cracks, no stress tear, just a sudden total dismount. Fasteners loosened, not snapped. The lock ring was missing, removed, not fallen. That's when I knew it wasn't an accident or even negligence. It was an ambush. The railing was sabotaged. Rhea had trusted it would hold because I'd told her it would. That night, alone in the kitchen, her tea mug steeping cold, I read every HOA bulletin from the last 3 months, cross-referencing timestamps against my balcony sensor logs. One entry jumped out, 7:41 a.m., scheduled routine inspection of Lot 14. Platform assessment in progress. Confirmed board-approved action. That wasn't an inspection. That was a hit. Next morning, I went to the HOA board office. Calvin was behind the front desk, flipping through a ledger, face pale. "We're not taking walk-ins today, Mr. Velen," he said, even practiced. "You were there," I said. "You saw her fall." He flinched. His eyes flicked toward Melinda's office, then dropped. "You knew they were coming. You had the new removal schedule. You stood outside our fence yesterday. Wouldn't even look at her." He whispered, "She wasn't supposed to be on it. They said no one would be outside. Just a test." Melinda told the crew to flag the bolts, not touch them. But they did. Someone changed the order. I dropped the printed log onto the desk, the 7:41 a.m. Timestamp circled in red. His fingers twitched. The color drained from his face. "She called me that morning," he said, voice shaky. "Rhea?" He nodded. "She left me a message, said something fell off. Saw a red van circling twice. She probably recognized the contractor before he even parked. Rhea always noticed patterns. She trusted you, Calvin." "I know." He sounded beaten. "I didn't vote for the removal." Melinda added it after the meeting, said it was provisional, pending board signature. "I thought she'd wait." "You thought she'd obey federal law." He didn't answer. "She needed a unanimous vote," I said. "No, just 2/3. And she got it." Marcus and Jod signed without reading. I stalled, said I had questions. She forged the confirmation. "I didn't see it until today. It's backdated, but it's fake." There it was, the crack. Calvin wasn't innocent, just complicit, but maybe scared enough now. "Help me, before she scrubs everything. Help me prove Rhea didn't fall." She was dropped. He nodded. By the time I got home, a final notice, non-compliant structure, was taped to my door. Debris must be removed within 24 hours to avoid sanction. Signed personally by Melinda, printed so thick it felt like arrogance. She knew I was still identifying my wife's remains. No cleanup crew had come. No city inspector. Just wreckage and silence. I walked inside, locked the door, dropped the notice beside Rhea's phone. Her last message: "He's 5 minutes away. Bring him in slow." Logan doesn't trust surprises. Nothing left to say. I logged into the lift's firmware dashboard. The security module had gone dark at 7:43 a.m., but before that, calibration logs, motor data, sudden vibration at 7:39. For seconds later, the emergency brake tried to engage and failed. The platform's safety had been overridden. Someone triggered the inspection mode to disable the auto lock. A command, not a fault. Only 3 people had the access. Me, the city's emergency contractor, and the HOA vendor Melinda hired last quarter. I found his number, Ralph Decker. No license, no inspection credentials, but listed as on call. I called. You touched my platform yesterday. Silence. I know you bypassed the safety. I wrote the command. I can trace it. He breathed hard. She told me no one would be on it. Said it was empty, that the guy who built it screwed up. She just needed photos. She handed me the tablet, said to run quick test mode. I thought it was a routine override. She said the structure was abandoned. I see now it wasn't. His voice dropped. I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt. She wasn't just anyone. I ended the call, then filed a formal complaint. Unsafe board-sanctioned equipment tampering, contractor negligence, fatality. 3 files attached. The override log, the signature code, Melinda's email naming Ralph as her partner. That night, I sat in the dark with the patio lights off. The shattered frame of Ria's balcony visible under the moon. At 2:13 a.m., a truck idled outside, Logan. He looked thinner, sharper, jaw clenched. He held a coffee cup, stared at the wreckage. She was still on it, I said. He nodded. You know she texted you before? I read it while they loaded her in the coroner's van. He said I was 10 minutes late. You weren't late, I told him. They were early. He crouched by the bracket mount, fingers tracing the fracture. This wasn't wear. This was torque. Deliberate. I know. Someone used the override protocol I wrote. How many people knew it? 3. So it was the vendor, Ralph Decker. Logan stood, eyes on the sea. She died thinking they won. No, she died thinking I'd stop them. Inside, I laid out everything. Logs, bulletins, overlays, Calvin's fake approval memo. Logan took notes in the kind of shorthand you only learn in bad places. Where's the weak point? I asked. He tapped Melinda's name. She's cocky. If we prove her contractor ran a fatal override on her orders, we can bypass HOA arbitration. Go straight to ADA enforcement. I already submitted a request. He raised an eyebrow. That won't stick. We make it public. You really think people will care? He stared at the crushed recliner. They will if we show them who she was. We spent 3 hours organizing footage, internal camera logs, little clips of Ria laughing, reading, talking to the birds. Logan paused on one where she says, they always miss the first try, but they never give up. That's your hook, he said. When the sun came up, he handed me a drive labeled Proof of Negligence. Another labeled Broadcast Asset Master. What's this? A message from her to them. I spent the day watching every file. Some just seconds, her laughing at the gulls, adjusting her sun hat, reading poetry, not knowing the camera was on. One video dated 2 weeks before her death. If anything happens, and I don't mean to fall, I mean if someone pushes too far, don't let them write the story. I want them to see what it cost. I paused, couldn't breathe, then hit play again. She listed every citation, every fine Melinda sent, the blanket that wasn't neutral, the write-up for lingering too long on the property line, code for enjoying her coffee in her chair. Ria didn't leave a goodbye, just a warning. Logan came back that afternoon. I'd already uploaded the video, encrypted the backup, drafted a statement for the ADA Shield Coalition. He read it, nodded. Ready? No good. Means you're serious. He dropped a stack of papers on the table. Names, violations, dates. Board members who authorized Melinda's clause. Got this from a guy I worked with, policy analyst, scraped every amendment. You did this today? Didn't say he was slow. I had Calvin's logs, override timestamps, the contractor's confirmation. What I didn't have was a public witness. You do now, Logan said. Calvin left this in your mailbox. A flash drive. I plugged it in, one video file. Calvin in his car, rain hitting the windshield. My name is Calvin Driel. I serve as treasurer of the Black Ridge Dunes HOA. On the morning of the 12th, I witnessed unauthorized removal procedures at Lot 14. I did not approve the order. I believe this action directly led to her death. Submitting this in case I disappear from the next meeting. So now we had a second voice, a crack in the wall. Melinda sent another bulletin, full of desperation. Damage control. She knew something was coming. We met that night in the empty break room of the Veterans Resource Center. Logan brought a retired ADA officer and a housing litigation advocate. They listened to everything: logs, memos, videos, signatures. This is solid, the advocate said. But story first, data second. User message. Logan cut the final video, Ria's voice over crash footage, memo overlays, timeline. By midnight, a clean 3-minute clip, captions and all. It opened with her under the sun. They told me I was a hazard. I just wanted fresh air. Then the collapse. Melinda's no more delays. We called it Black Ridge Dunes, the cost of silence. Step 1. Send the video to ADA Shield with a legal demand. Step 2. Every news outlet covering housing issues with my testimony and Calvin's confession. Step 3. Launch the clip everywhere under one hashtag, Wheelchair Washer World. Step 4. Let the internet do what it does. Logan looked at me. You sure? I nodded. She asked me not to let them write her ending. He clicked upload. Within minutes, the video was live, on advocacy pages, sent to news, forwarded everywhere. The HOA board site crashed from traffic. By dawn, Wheelchair Washer World was trending statewide. By mid-morning, news trucks circled the gate. HOA board members ducked calls. The Facebook group exploded. Comments disabled, posts deleted, admin silent. Melinda put out a cold, bold-faced statement, denying everything. No apology. No name. Just sanitized lies. At 2:15, Phase 2, original logs posted side by side with Calvin's. Logan uploaded a technical breakdown. The advocate released a line-by-line legal explainer. The nail came from an unexpected place. A former board member from Melinda's last HOA posted, Melinda Gratch drove out 4 disabled residents, citing visual disruption. Ria wasn't her first target, just the first who fought too hard to scare. A veterans group picked it up. Then a state senator. ADA violations are not aesthetic debates. Expect hearings. Melinda was finished but didn't know it. At the emergency board meeting, Calvin said, I watched you type the override command, Melinda. Your login. Your IP. Silence. Crash. Logan nodded at me. I stepped forward, opened the door. Thought this was a private meeting? Melinda sneered. Someone invited us. You have no right. We have every right. Logan cut her off. You initiated a fatal override, ignored ADA protections, falsified documentation, intimidated the board, suppressed evidence. Marcus pushed back. Is this true? You lied to us, Jod said, voice breaking. You didn't read what you signed. I trusted you. Calvin, quietly. We all feared her. Not anymore. Logan dropped the petitions. 34 residents demand your removal. The ADA Shield Coalition filed charges. The press is outside. Melinda stiffened. This is a vendetta. No, I said. It's the voice you tried to erase. She's not done speaking. Reporters gathered. Melinda's resignation trended second only to Ria's voice. The neighborhood changed. People brought flowers, donated to the ADA Legal Fund. Melinda left town, no forwarding address. Her silence belonged to Ria now, her voice in every hearing, every screen, every new petition. Jody, one of the first to resign, asked to submit the case as a federal training lesson for what not to do in ADA-governed communities. I gave her everything. And then I went back to the cliffside, sat on the rebuilt platform, facing the sunrise Ria loved. For the first time in months, I could breathe, not because it was over, but because it began with her and it would keep going even after me. If you've ever fought to be